5 seconds. Start. We do not intend to review in detail state of authorities in relation to assessment of all damages for personal injury. Stop. Suffice it to say that the basis of assessment of all damages for personal injury is compensation. Stop. The whole idea is to put the claimant in the same position as he was in so far as money can. Stop. Perfect compensation is hardly possible, but one has to keep in mind that the victim has done no wrong, semicolon. He has suffered at the hands of the wrongdoer, and the court must take care to give him full and fair compensation for that he had suffered. Stop. In some cases, for personal injury, the claim could be in respect of lifetime's earnings lost because, though he will live, he cannot earn his living. Stop. In others, the claim may be made for partial loss of earnings. Stop. Each case has to be considered in the light of its own facts, and at the end, one must ask whether the sum awarded is a fair and reasonable sum. Stop. Double inverted comma close. Within bracket emphasis supplied. Next point. In Nizam's Institute of Medical Sciences versus Prasant S. Dhananka, within bracket 2009, 6 SCC 1, this court was called upon to assess the compensation payable under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986 to the victim of medical negligence who was left completely paralyzed at the age of 20. Stop. After detailed examination of the issue, the court observed as under colon double inverted comma, we must emphasize that the court has to strike a balance between the inflated and unreasonable demands of a victim and the equally untenable claim of the opposite party, saying that nothing is payable. Stop. Sympathy for the victim does not, and should not, come in the way of making a correct assessment, but if a case is made out, the court must not be chary of awarding adequate compensation. Stop. The double inverted comma begin adequate compensation double inverted comma close that we speak of, must to some extent, be a rule of the thumb measure, and as a balance has to be struck, it would be difficult to satisfy all the parties concerned. Stop. It must also be borne in mind that life has its pitfalls and is not smooth sailing, and all along the way, within bracket, as a claimant would have us believe, bracket close, as the hiccups that invariably come about cannot be visualized. Stop. Life, it is said, is akin to a ride on a roller coaster where a meteoric rise is often followed by an equally spectacular fall, and the distance between the two, bracket open, as in this very case, bracket close, is a minute or a yard. Stop. At the same time, we often find that a person injured in an accident leaves his family in greater distress, with a family in a case of death. Stop. In the later case, the initial shock gives way to a feeling of resignation and acceptance, and in time, compels the family to move on. Stop. The case of an injured and disabled person is, however, more pitiable, and the feeling of hurt, helplessness, despair, and often destitution endures every day. Stop. The support that is needed by a severely handicapped person comes at an enormous price, physical, financial, and emotional, not only on the victim but even more so on his family and attendants, and the stress saps their energy and destroys their equanimity. Stop. We can also visualize the anxiety of the complainant and his parents for the future after the latter, as must all of us, inevitably fade away. Stop. We, have, therefore computed the compensation, keeping in mind that his brilliant career has been cut short and there is, as of now, no possibility of improvement in his condition, the compensation will ensure a steady and reasonable income to him for a time when he is unable to earn for himself. Stop. Double inverted comma close. In Rajkumar versus Ajay Kumar, bracket open 2011 bracket close 1 SCC 343, this court considered large number of precedents and laid down the following prepositions, colon, double inverted comma begin. The provision of the Motor Vehicles Act, 1988, bracket open, single inverted comma, the act, single inverted comma close, for short, bracket close, makes it clear that the award must be just, which means that compensation should, to the extent possible, fully and adequately restore the claimant to the position prior to the accident. Stop. The object of awarding damages is to make good the loss suffered as a result of wrong done as far as money can do so, in a fair, reasonable and equitable manner. Stop. The court or the tribunal, shall have to assess the damages objectively and exclude from consideration any speculation or fancy, though some conjecture with reference to the nature of disability and its consequences, is inevitable. Stop. A person is not only to be compensated for the physical injury, but also for the loss which he suffered as a result of such injury. Stop. This means that he is to be compensated for his inability to lead a full life, his inability to enjoy those normal amenities which he would have enjoyed but for the injuries, and his inability to earn as much as he used to earn or could have earned. Stop. The heads under which compensation is awarded in personal injury cases are the following, pecuniary damages, bracket open, special damages, bracket close. First point, expenses relating to treatment, hospitalization, medicine, transportation, nourishing food, and miscellaneous expenditure. Stop. Second point, loss of earnings, bracket open, and other gains, bracket close, which the injured would have made had he not been injured, comprising, colon, a loss of earning during the period of treatment, semicolon, b loss of future earnings on account of permanent disability. Stop. 3. Future medical expenses. Stop. Non pecuniary damages, bracket open, general damages, bracket close. Fourth, damages for pain, suffering and trauma as a consequence of the injuries. Stop. 5. Loss of amenities, bracket open and oblique, or loss of prospects of marriage, bracket close. Stop. 6. Loss of expectation of life, bracket open, shortening of normal longevity, bracket close. Stop. Next para. In routine personal injury cases, compensation will be awarded only under heads first, second, a and 4. Stop. It is only in serious cases of injury, where there is specific medical evidence corroborating the evidence of the claimant, that compensation will be granted under any of the heads second, b, third, 5th and 6th relating to loss of future earnings on account of permanent disability, future medical expenses, loss of amenities bracket open and oblique or loss of prospects of marriage bracket close and loss of expectation of life stop double inverted close. Next para in Sri Ramachandrappa versus the manager, Royal Sundaram Alliance Insurance Company Limited, 2011 within bracket 4 RCR within bracket civil 107 colon 2011 within bracket 4 recent apex judgments within bracket RAJ 504 colon within bracket 2011 13 SCC 236 the court observed colon double inverted begin. The compensation is usually based upon the loss of the claimant's earnings or earning capacity, or upon the loss of particular faculties or members or use of such members, ordinarily in accordance with a definite schedule stop. The courts have time and again observed that the compensation to be awarded is not measured by the nature, location or degree of the injury, but rather by the extent or degree of the incapacity resulting from the injury stop. The tribunals are expected to make an award determining the amount of compensation which should appear to be just, fair and proper stops. Finish.